Hey everyone, I'm Joe Katz, host of the Sports Roundtable, and each week we'll take a look at the high school basketball scene here in New Hanover County as the boys and girls coaches from each of the 4 high schools join us here in studio. First up is Laney High School basketball coach on the boys' side, second-year coach Nathan Falk. And Coach Falk, it's always good to see you here, obviously in the Sports Roundtable, a little different venue that you and I are used to speaking, and it's good to see you here early and ready to get ready for the second part of the high school basketball season.
We're excited. We have gotten off to a pretty good start, so we're happy in Bucktown right now, but obviously the crunch of the season is upon us.
Now, Coach, we want to take you back before we get into the thick of the schedule here, the Mid-Eastern Conference schedule. You're 3-0 right now as you get ready for a big week, big next couple of weeks with obviously some in-town rivals coming up on the schedule. But let's go back to the holiday break a little bit. The 20th edition of the Leon Brogdon Holiday Basketball Tournament. You were involved in that 3-day event as always. And let's just go back through that a little bit. A tough outing late in the latter part of it. You did pick up a win, but just some thoughts on those 3 days, 3 games in 3 days really you played.
Well, we feel like that we definitely played 2 of the top 3 teams there. Obviously Millbrook was very good. The Miami team got off to a slow start when they got there, but certainly was very good. And we played both of them. And I thought after the first day, the second, third day, we showed progression, which is what we wanted to do. We wanted to leave there 2 wins, 2 out of 3. We didn't achieve that, but I did see some progression. And the main part is right now we're 3-0 in this league, and this week is a huge week for us with our county schools coming up, and that's what we're looking forward to.
Now, if we go back a little bit to the video, an earlier win this year over Pender, a pretty predominant win. You did fall to them on the latter part of the second half of the schedule. Just some thoughts on how you've progressed from that win back against Pender until now as, again, you get ready for this thick of the schedule.
Well, you just saw Tariq there. Tariq's having a great year for us, as well as Kirby. Our junior guards are really doing a good job for us. We've got a young group, got some freshmen. I think you're about to see Rob Peterson right there get fouled. He's going to the free throw line. Good start for him and for our freshman group. Robert Wilson as well, Hunter Cook. But as far as the Pender game, we have progressed. I feel like it was a good win. They're a good team. They're going to do very well in their league. Although it's a very tough league that they're in this year, Coach Battle does a great job. So anytime we can get a win, over Pender, it's certainly a good win for our program.
Now, looking up and down the lineup, really, like you speak of, you have a lot of inexperience and youth on the squad, but you also do have 2 of your top scorers are upperclassmen in juniors, Tariq Lane and Kirby Keelan. How much of a role do they play on and off the court for you, and what do they dictate on the court for you, basically, to help you continue to get some of these younger guys some big minutes, and especially as you get into some of these bigger games down the stretch?
Well, they're leaders in the locker room. They do a good job of talking to our younger guys and telling them, what we expect and how to handle me, I guess, as a coach, and that's good. You need that in the locker room from an upper guy to the freshman. So they do a good job with that. Obviously, they're our guys when it comes to leading us on the court as well. So they're doing a good job for us. I couldn't ask for more. They're going to have to continue it and pick it up even more as we go into conference play, but I think the young guys will follow suit.
Now, speaking of some of the younger guys on the roster, we'll start with the newcomer, CJ Kirchhoff, a threat from the outside. He can also do some things in the lane for you. CJ, and then another freshman, as you mentioned here at the top, Rob Peterson, also lots of basketball smart. Why don't you just touch on those 2 players and what they've meant to the program so far and how they've developed here over the last couple of weeks? Yeah,
CJ's been big for us in a lot of games, and when he shoots it well, we're really pretty good because we've got the driving, slashing ability of our guards, and then outside threat with CJ. So his game really, if he's shooting it well, we can really be pretty good. Rob Peterson obviously just cerebral, knows the game, helps us out in the locker room as well as a young guy. It's just kind of amazing with him and what he's doing and bringing for us. Our young guys, we're sitting here, 8-5 and 3-0 with 6 freshmen, sophomores, and our JV team's undefeated right now. So we're really happy where we're going and where we're moving as a program as a whole. But we understand that that this week, as far as us goes, with the county schools coming in, it's going to be make us break us.
So now we fast forward here to the thick of the conference schedule, as we've mentioned many times here already. But you've had a week of practice here since the Brogdon tournament. We've come into the new year now. And what's the message been during practice here over the last 5, 6, 7 days as you get ready to take on these big teams coming up?
Well, we definitely went back. We had four practices from the Brogdon till tonight will be 5 practices that we've had. They've been very spirited, we'll say that. We went back to the drawing boards, went back and worked on skills and skill development, and really honed into some things I feel like we need to do back to the defensive efforts and where we need to be with that. So, it was really good to have this 4 or 5 days and these 4 or 5 practices. It really got us back into where we need to go, and they were hard and spirited, and I think it'll benefit us this week.
Now, we talk on the defensive side of the floor. That often translates to what you do on offense. And how big is it for you? I know that you've had times of offensive struggles, and it really has turned, because of the lackluster on the defensive side, is really made some struggles there offensively. How does that translate for you as you look forward in the Laney basketball program, that you're a defensive-oriented team first, and then obviously that translates on the offensive side?
Well, we're trying to get back to where we want to be, is pressuring the basketball full court and half court and some traps and that kind of stuff. We'll get there. We're slowly getting there this year. I think we'll get there even more in the coming years, where I really how we want to play. But for right now, we're still doing a good job I feel like, with how we're playing right now on the defensive side. It could be better at times, no doubt. But that's high school kids. It's hard to 32 minutes of how you expect them to play. But we're getting there. We're making strides in that. But that's what we wanted to concentrate on during these 4 practices, and I hope that shows.
Well, we definitely look forward to having you on here, every other week here on the Sports Roundtable, and obviously on our show, The Sports Connection. And we look forward to seeing how the Laney basketball season turns out. This is second-year basketball coach Nathan Falk, and we look forward again to talking with you here in the near future.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll be right back. And welcome back to the Sports Roundtable. I'm Joe Katz, your host, alongside New Hanover boys basketball coach Kirk Angel, as we take a look at high school basketball here in New Hanover County each and every week now through the rest of the season. Mid-Eastern Conference schedule obviously already underway, but during the holiday break you took part in the 20th edition of the Leon Brogdon Holiday Basketball Tournament. Probably not the outcome that you may have wanted, Coach, but some reflection, thoughts now that you've had a week of practice here since the tournament, as you get ready for the thick of the conference schedule coming up?
Yeah, we had a great week of practice. We fixed some things, got back to our identity, defensively and offensively, doing the things that we want to do, not what they want to do all the time. So it was a good week. No, the tournament didn't go like we wanted. Obviously, we lost to the champions, so we can say that. East Carter's they're the most talented 1A public school I've seen in a long time. Their guards are phenomenal. Great team chemistry. Coach Anderson does a great job with them. That was a tough loss, and I think the second night bothered me the most. I think we should have won that game against Miami. We played really well in the fourth quarter to push it to overtime and ran out of gas at the end, but we should have never got to that point. And then what worried me about the third day, we're coming in and playing a 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock game, whatever it was, and trying to get the guys back up, and they did a good job finishing out strong on the last day.
Well, when you play 3 games in 3 days, it really attributes to your mental toughness, what you need to do in 3 days. In 3 days, the body's not going to be the same as it was in day 1 as it is in day 3, and that goes to the conditioning that you spend months with in the off season to get ready for those type of games and that type of style tournament. But here you are, well rested now, a week of practice, and like you said, a good week of practice from your thoughts, and now coming into a big week as you get into conference schedule. What's been the message here in the last few days as you get ready for the meat of your schedule when it comes to the conference?
It's the grind. We've got 7 games in 2 weeks, 2 Saturday. We've got the conference games during the week, which every night that'll be a grind. And then this Saturday we go to a very talented Durham Hillside at their place, that place will be rocking when we go there. That'll be a great road test. And then get into next week, conference play, and then the back half we got 4 games in a week, and then we end up with Kinston at our place, which everybody knows. Brandon Ingram show, and they're loaded. They're going to compete again for the 2A state title. So. We schedule really hard for a reason, to try to get us prepared for conference and then ultimately state playoffs.
Well, now you have some length there. You also have some good work with Sean Robinson there at the point guard position, and some other guys that can do some big things for you. As we go through the next couple of weeks, who should we take a look at maybe that's going to stand out for you as or who you need to carry you in these tough situations that you're going to be facing down the stretch here?
I've had 2 sophomores that have had a really good practice leading up to the West Brunswick game. Machias Fields has had a really good practice. He's becoming a vocal leader only as a 10th grader, and that's fine. He's doing a great job. And Garrett Walston is starting to get his basketball legs. He was a tight end in football, and he brings a lot of toughness. You know, obviously something that we pride ourselves on in the program is toughness, and he had a great week of practice. So I see him getting more minutes here in the next few games.
Now, as you get ready for these big games, the guys know obviously that it's, you know, this is crunch time for you, and this is going to be the biggest. This is going to make or break the season coming up. You're 2-0 in conference, which really means nothing now because you're going to still have to face those teams once again.
Right.
But as you get ready for these tough teams down the stretch, you know, what's going to be the focus, or what makes New Hanover high school basketball successful?
Well, nothing changes. We treat every single day as that day. We got to have a really good practice today. You know, this drill has to be just right. This possession's got to be great. You know, that's how we look at everything. So we're going to have a really good practice tonight, and then we'll have a good walkthrough tomorrow, and then we'll, you know, face a tough West Brunswick team, and then that's all we're focused on right now.
Now, you do have the benefit of playing inside Brogdon Hall, and I know oftentimes when other teams come in there or talking with other coaches that the bright lights of Brogdon Hall sometimes get to some of the other teams. What's it like? You know, you've been there for a while, but what's it like coaching some of these new guys and getting them into, you know, such a big stage with so much history and talent that is played on that floor? How do you get the guys to understand that and then, you know, get them to do that on the floor as well?
Well, one of the special things about New Hanover and Brogdon Hall is, you know, over Christmas, a lot of the guys, former players, come back. And they're always calling me. They're coming by the gym. They want to practice. They want to get a workout. And every time they come back, they talk to the current players about what the tradition and what they have to withhold. And all, you know, they're not playing for themselves. They're playing for, you know, New Hanover High School and the tradition of the school. So that's special. That helps me. But you know, Brogdon's special. It can be hard some nights when we're playing a non-conference team on a Wednesday night and there's 40 people in the stands and they hear me too much. And then, you know, we play Laney or an Ashley or Hoggard and, you know, standing room only, it's just a special feeling.
Now, you've been with the Wildcats for a while now. What have been some of the challenges that you face each and every year at the high school level?
Winning. When I got the job, you know, I know it's only high school athletics, you say, but it's winning. I mean, you know, there's an expectation at the school with the position, and you know, we've been successful, and I've been fortunate to have some good players and a great athletic director and principals, and you know, but it's tough year in and year out.
Well, we look forward to talking with you, obviously, every other week here on the Sports Roundtable. New Hanover basketball coach Kirk Angel, and we wish the Wildcats luck as you head through the thick of your conference schedule.
Appreciate you, Joe.
We'll be right back. And we're back here on the Sports Roundtable. I'm Joe Katz, your host, and we take a look each week at the high school basketball programs here in New Hanover County. And up next is Ashley High School boys basketball coach, first-year coach David Rutledge. Coach Rutledge, it's good to have you here on set, and look forward to talking to you over the next couple of minutes here about Ashley basketball.
Well, thanks for having me. We look forward to it.
Now, again, your first year here as a head coach in the Wilmington area. Oh, I guess we'll have to get right to that. How has it been so far since taking over the program, leading up to now here in the middle of the schedule?
The first year of a program, it's fun, it's exciting, it's stressful because you're putting in new things. It's a work in patience, and so you have to sell patience to your young men. But the character of the young men I coach is incredible, and so I'm been so excited about getting to know the young men.
Well, I know I've spoken with you many times here over the last couple of weeks, and you know, a roster up and down, some new faces, new names. We'll start, I guess, one with the top of the list is one of your leading scorers is Tyree Gathright, a junior standout guard. He's really put in some big minutes for you so far this season. Just talk about his character and leadership on and off the court.
Well, as you see when we show the videos, some of the clips, Tyree stands out on the court when you see what he can do. The fun thing about Tyree is he's scratching the surface. Everyone that sees him in practices and sees what he can do, we know he's about 5% right now. He's scoring 20. He can score 20 in a game without breaking a sweat. When as he develops, it's going to be scary as he keeps developing.
Now we'll go to the video here about on the Leon Brogdon basketball tournament that you just finished up over the last just after Christmas there, the 3-day annual event. You picked up a win there on day one over a team from Miami. And as we go through the film here to start it off, obviously you picked up that big win, but just go through some of the moving pieces that you have here on the squad.
Well, as you watch, Tyree gives us a level of athleticism. There we're running him at our 4 position, even though he's a natural 2 guard. He shows that athleticism. Miami has some guys that are 6'5", 6'7", 6'8", so his ability to elevate there and finish is really big for us. So and you'll see here in this stretch, this is kind of indicative of what we want to do. We want to pick up the pace and get up and down the floor. we're not necessarily there at all times. But in the third quarter and fourth quarter of this game, we were able to assert our pressure and get a pace picked up.
Now, we talk a little bit about Tyree, but obviously you have 4 other guys that are on the floor alongside Tyree during every stretch of the game. Some rotating pieces there. Who else can we look for as we go down the stretch, or that we saw in the Brogdon tournament that maybe we can keep an eye on as we go through the schedule?
Our team goes as Jake Stinnett goes at point guard, number 10. He's a junior, hard worker. He's a warrior on the court. And then our big man, Ryan Keller, 44. He's a sophomore, 6'6". He's growing every day. He's getting better every day. You see him finish there running the floor. That's a perfect example of what he can do. At 6'6", he can run the floor all game long. And as he gets more developed, he's going to be a heck of a player for 3 years for me.
Well, now a lot of youth on the team as well. We'll start with Ryan there. I don't want to talk about injuries or anything like that too much, or you don't have to give me too much on there, but I know he did have a little ankle twist there late in the Brogdon tournament. How's his health?
He's back 100%. He's practicing. While he was out, this stretch was really big for us to get some guys some experience in practice, but he's back 100%. He'll be ready to go on Wednesday when we head to Clinton.
Now, we finish up the Brogdon tournament. We get into the new year here. You've had a week-long stretch of practice without any games, kind of get everyone's legs back underneath them after playing 3 games in 3 days. And I know that's a tough stretch, not only for the players, but as you as a coach, it takes a lot of mental, a lot of stuff out of your head there and a lot of refocusing there. What's been the thought process here over the last week getting back into the games?
Our 4 days have been incredible. Tyree specifically has come in and stepped it up in leadership on the court. Everyone, when you see that type level of player step it up, the other guys believe a little more. And it's been huge for us this week. Refocusing is a lot easier over Christmas because you don't have classes to go to. They can wake up, focus on basketball. The guys will go eat lunch together, come back, skill development together. And we saw the coaches saw turning a corner this week in the 4 or 5 practices we put together in a row. So we're real excited to see how it translates to the floor.
All right, we're here with Ashley, first-year basketball coach David Rutledge, and as we continue now, like you said, you play Clinton midweek, but then you get back into that Mid-Eastern Conference schedule. Obviously a tough schedule when you have the 3 other new Hanover County schools, add West Brunswick, South Brunswick, and Topsail in the mix. It's a pretty deep schedule up and down. Where do you see the Ashley basketball program headed here over the next couple of weeks?
Our goal this year, and I've told the guys, is development. We want to get those reps in. We want to learn. Sometimes taking some losses teaches you to learn to want to win. And these guys are starting to turn that corner where they want those victories. I feel like we can be competitive in each game. And I just tell them, I say, I want effort. Like East Carteret, we lost that game, but we showed effort and resilience. If we show that over the stretch, they're going to build the confidence, and I feel like we can compete in every game. Every game's our championship from here on out. That's the way we're going to look at it.
Well, now, when we talk about Ashley basketball, or we talk about Coach Rutledge, what is the prototypical Coach Rutledge team going to do?
Well, I'm hoping we're going to compete for all 32 minutes plus any extra minutes. I'm really hoping we can pick up the pressure and the speed. I want toughness, guys like Jake Stinnett, the guys I've talked about, that toughness they bring to the table. I'm hoping we play as a unit. And like I said, this week they started to gel as a unit where they start figuring out where they fit into the puzzle, and it takes that time. So I'm hoping you'll see toughness and speed, and you'll see that tenacity for 32 minutes.
That's first-year Ashley High School basketball coach David Rutledge here on the Sports Roundtable. We're going to continue to talk with him each and every other week as we continue through the high school basketball season. But this is the Sports Roundtable. I'm Joe Katz, your host, and we'll be right back. And welcome back to the Sports Roundtable. I'm your host, Joe Katz from PortCityDaily.com, and joining us now is longtime Hoggard basketball coach Brett Queen. And Coach, it's always good to see you here as we continue through the stretch run of the high school basketball season.
Good to be here.
Now, Hoggard, fresh off the Leon Brogdon tournament, another game this past week against North Brunswick. Some thoughts and feedback maybe from the past couple of weeks as we head through we're now finished up with the holiday break?
Well, we're trying to get better. Dealing with some stuff this year that I've never had to deal with before. We had a number of kids playing football, and 3 of those kids, we had 8 total playing football out of our 13. 3 of them were hurt coming out of football. We got one of them back, or 2 of them back this past week. We still don't have one of them back, and so I feel like we've been starting over a lot during the course of the season so far, but the guys are working hard and getting better. It's a young group, and just trying to get them to understand playing with a sense of urgency, which I think is always an issue with younger guys. And we're making progress, but we've lost some games in some ways that we typically haven't lost games in the past. And so just trying to coach those kids and help them to understand how to correct those situations. It's been challenging, but it's a good group.
Well, speaking of the challenges, obviously, that you brought up, your football team, the Hoggard football team, went deep into the state playoffs, which is, like you said, you've had to readjust pretty much each week as you've gotten some of these guys back. How has that tested you as a head coach? You've been here for a long time, and like you said, for the first time, really, that you've had to deal with some missing pieces, some new pieces, and now finally, it looks like you're finally getting that roster into shape here after the holidays.
Yeah. Well, anytime you do something for the first time, you're learning, and I think we'll continue to have these issues because we've got a lot of kids that play multiple sports, and so there's some things I think we'll do a little differently, as we move forward in future years. But you can't. We can't fix anything or change anything that we've done. We've just got to continue to, refine things on a day-to-day basis, and just keep some notes about some things that maybe we could do differently next year, so that we're not in some of the situations that we're in right now.
Well, now as we look back to the Leon Brogdon Holiday Tournament, you had some ups and downs. Saw some standout performances there with Xavier Johnson, your young guy who put in a career high in one of the wins that you've had. What was the main focus for your team there in those 3 games in 3 days? It's a lot of basketball there through a 3-day stretch.
Right. Well, for us, we were just really working, on trying to get better. An opportunity to play for 3 days, and we opened up with the day after Christmas. You never really know how things are going to go coming back, but we did a lot of good things against Southside, team out of Greenville, South Carolina. I thought Trevor Singleton really played well. Had 20 points and 13 rebounds, and just did some good things. Overall, once again, a sign of a young team. We had some chances to put them away, didn't do it. We ended up winning by 10, but it's one of those games I felt like that, we probably could have won by more than that. If we just play with that sense of urgency, just we got better. Jack Bagley there, one of our sophomore guards, did a good job for us, and Trey Bryant, junior guard, and those 2 kids are starting for us. And Trey played on the JV team last year. Jack lived in Missouri last year. Xavier Johnson, JV player last year. So we're playing with a lot of guys that that don't have a lot of varsity experience, and some of which that are coming from football didn't have a whole lot of practice time before they started with their varsity experience. So it's a learning process, and like I said, they're good kids. They work hard, and the things that we need to work on are very things that you can coach and work through. And so it's the holiday time has been good for us. We have had a chance to practice quite a bit. And hopefully that will pay off for us as we head into the meat of our conference schedule.
Well, as we watch some of the highlights here, obviously things start from the beginning of the clip with Trevor Singleton, and obviously things will probably go through him when you rotate the offense there. But as you look at like Jack Bagley, Trey Bryant, those guys are going to really need to step up for you here down the conference stretch, as many teams will be obviously keying on Trevor and some of your length down low. Yeah,
to be a really good team, I think you've got to have multiple scoring threats out on the floor. And, we've got, Trey Bryant's actually our leading scorer. Trevor and Xavier averaging double figures. Jack is just outside of double figures. So, if you've got 4 guys that are averaging double figures, that makes you a little harder to guard. Last year we only had 2 kids that averaged in double figures, but those 2 kids did a pretty good job of scoring. And Trevor's not totally healthy. He's been banged up in some shape, way, or form for a couple of years now, to be honest with you. And he's fighting through some injury, with his legs, and doesn't have quite the same lift that he's had in the past. And so we definitely need to do some things to give him some help. And we've got some guys that are capable of doing that. a lot of it is just a confidence thing with them. Once again, when you're dealing with young kids, you got to get them to believe in themselves. We tell them, we believe in you. We're putting you out there on the court in those situations, but they got to be able to believe in themselves and be confident when they're out there on the floor. And we've had some situations where we've struggled with that. We've lost a couple of games. We had 2 games where we didn't even get a shot off at the end of the game that could have tied or won the game, and that's a confidence thing. You got to have people that want to take those shots, and we just maybe we need somebody to take one and make one, to get that confidence. And so we've got some things we need to continue to work on, but we're going to, and these kids are going to grow up and mature and get better as we move forward.
Well, we look forward to hopefully seeing Hoggard hit their midseason stride right here in the midseason as you get ready for a big next couple of weeks in the conference schedule. Hoggard, boys basketball coach Brett Queen, he'll be joining us every other week as we head through the high school basketball season right here on the Sports Roundtable. And we appreciate you joining us here for our first edition of the Sports Roundtable. Again, I'm Joe Katz. Next week, we'll be talking with all 4 of the new Hanover County girls high school basketball coaches. So we look forward to you tuning in next week right here on the Sports Roundtable.